So welcome to episode 1 of the series I'm going to do on building a house here in Montana. Most of this will apply to anywhere around the country, so if you have some friends that are building in a different state, feel free to share this with them. If you're getting good information from my videos and you enjoy these, please subscribe and hit the thumbs up button too to help me beat the algorithm and get this video out to as many people as possible, because as you know, I'm trying to get 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So what I'm planning on doing with this series of videos is showing you from day one till the end of building a house here. I have some clients that allowed me to do this, so thank you to them. You know who you are. I'm going to go through every step of building a house, and in episode 1, we're going to talk about finding your land, what you need to think about, and finding a good builder. So let's get started, and welcome to the series. So we did look around quite a bit for the perfect lot, and we ended up finding this one, which they absolutely loved. It's actually 17 acres, and one of the things that they had to think about, this is actually in a subdivision, so when you're within a subdivision, there comes a lot of other, rules and regulations that you have to follow. Some subdivisions have more rules than others. This one's not that bad at all. But the things you have to think about out here, especially in this spot, as you can see, this is, pretty rural. Even though we are in a neighborhood or a subdivision, you're quite a ways away from other people. And this particular lot is way at the back end of this particular subdivision. So you got to think about snow plowing. As you can see, this road here, you're out here. They will share this with one other neighbor, but I don't think that neighbor's here very much. So you're going to be kind of on your own in some of these areas as to plow yourself out. And a lot of these bigger lots, you're going to have big driveways to get back up into the building site. So there again, more plowing you're going to have to think about in the winter. Speaking of the HOAs on this one, in this particular area, they charge $750 a year, and that's basically for the common areas, the landscaping around the subdivision, and then some of the road maintenance. But again, not every subdivision is going to include plowing, so you just need to do your homework and think about what you want to get yourself into or not get yourself into if you want to live out here kind of outside of town. So kind of the point of this series that I'm doing is all the different costs that you need to think about. And obviously plowing is one cost, the HOA fees is another, and then you have your taxes. When you're looking at bare land, especially here in Montana, you're going to get all excited. So this 17-acre lot right now, because there's nothing on it, the taxes are $61 a year. So don't get too excited about, oh my God, it's only $60 a year. They tax you on what's on the land. So once you develop it, obviously your taxes are going to go way up. One of the things people do on bigger lots like this one, in order to save money on taxes, is and this isn't allowed everywhere, so don't think you can just do this anywhere, but a lot of people where it's allowed will split off 1 acre where the house is and then leave the other 16 acres or whatever amount undeveloped, because then you're only taxed on the 1 acre with the house, which is a lot cheaper than if you have 20 acres in a house. So another thing to keep in mind, another thing to think about if you're buying a piece of land to build on. The other good thing about this particular lot is that over in there it borders Forest Service. So the cool thing about that is nobody's ever going to build there. It's federal land. It's always going to be, forest. But with that being said, public land people can use. So you may have people, walking through there at different times of year because it's public land. I mean, this particular spot, you're not going to get that much just because of where it is. But if you're buying a place that's near a popular Forest Service area or borders a popular Forest Service area, you're going to have to possibly deal with people in your yard or right next to your property that you thought was totally private, and off by itself. If you're bordering public land, just keep that in mind, that it is public and people can use it. So now that we've bought the property, the next step is finding a good builder, and you really need to do your homework on that, especially around here. There's very good builders around here, but there's also not so good builders, and you don't want one of those because it can end up costing you a fortune to get rid of a guy in the middle of a job, or if he just bails or whatever could go wrong. You want to make sure you get a good builder. I have a list of good builders that I can give you, but don't screw up builder, because it'll be a nightmare. So my clients had been dreaming of building a house like this for years, so they already had a set of plans. And that's where one of the differences comes in. If you're doing this on your own, there's different ways to do it. Like I said, they had their own plans, so they were kind of ahead of the game there. But if you go to an architect and have him draw up some plans for you, or some builders have set plans that they always build, that's one of the things you need to look into. Obviously, an architect is going to cost another chunk of money on top of all of this that we're talking about. But if you go with a builder that has plans and you like some of the plans, then you can save a little bit there. Also, you can get like a general contractor that will be in charge of everything, and he'll babysit each contractor. A lot of the builders will act like that for you, or some of these design companies will do that for you. But again, they always tack on a percentage on top of every bill you get. So if the plumber costs you whatever, they're going to tack on a percentage on top of that, and they're going to tack on a percentage on top of everything, which clearly is going to cost you a lot more. But then you don't have to worry about babysitting all those people. That's their job. So a lot of people like to do it their own way. Some people want a general contractor that watches over everything. Some people that are in the area, they can come out here every day and check on everything, and they want to do it that way. So different ways to do it. Again, it's all about your budget and what you want to spend and what you're willing to spend to get the house built properly. So once you choose a builder, then you're looking at picking out all of the different items, the doors, the cabinets, the countertops, the lighting, all of that stuff you have to pick out. And the builder's going to give you a bid, and he's going to write up a contract. The price he's going to give you is going to include everything he picks out. So you want to make sure you check on all of those things, and make sure you like the cabinets, and make sure you like the counters and everything I just said. And you want to read that contract very carefully. And here's a little tip, and it's, if I would have made this video a year ago, I wouldn't have been able to give you this tip. But if you haven't started using AI tools, you need to start, especially for things like this. I use it daily, and if you watch, I have a separate channel that I kind of do the behind the scenes on my brokerage. I'll put the link for that in the notes if you guys want to check that out. But I use AI. There's this one program that works perfectly for what I'm about to tell you. It's called Notebook LM, and it's a Google product. So if you just Google Notebook LM and you have a Google account, it's super easy to set up. But what you can do is take a contract, or what I use it for a lot is taking the covenants, and you upload it in there, and it reads it in a split second. Even if I've had some covenants that are 200 pages, and when we're looking at the house, people ask me questions. Well, I don't know all the answers. I didn't memorize the 200 pages, so I upload it into Notebook LM. Like I'll show you right here on my computer. It's super easy to do. But then once you upload the documents, you can ask it questions just like if you're talking to a person. And obviously it's an expert because it read all of the entire document, and it'll pull up, if you say, can I have horses on my, like if you upload covenants, can I have horses on my property? It'll instantly pull up the part of the covenants that say yes or no. And as far as the contract for the house goes, you can use it on finding out when your payments are due, or, again, a lot of these contracts can be many, many pages. And, if you don't want to hire a lawyer or somebody to give you a review, do it this way, and it will answer your questions. It's a great tool, and it's the greatest thing ever in my mind. It's just super helpful, and it will help you with any questions you may have, and it'll help you review these contracts that you may not be used to doing in your everyday life. A couple other things about builders is, like I said, once you get the contract, make sure, and they'll give you all this, they'll show you the type of lighting and the type of countertops and the type of cabinets. Go to those stores and look and see exactly what you're getting and make sure you're happy with it, because where people get burned is they'll be like, oh, well, I don't really like this counter and I wanted this counter. And then, it doesn't sound like much at the time, but if you're changing things throughout the project, all of a sudden at the end, you've got this massive bill and your budget could be blown out of the water because you didn't really like the things the builder picked out. So just make sure you go to the different stores, the cabinet shops, the flooring stores, the lighting stores, and make sure you're happy with everything. The last thing I want to say about builders is make sure, I said it earlier, do your homework on these builders, and they should be really happy and proud to show you some of their other work. And the owners of these properties should be happy to tell you how great this builder is. If they're not, huge red flag, obviously, but unfortunately, there's a lot of builders around here that aren't that good. So make sure you go see some of the other projects they've done and talk to some of the people they've used, and just check all the reviews and make sure he's a good builder. So in the next episode, we're going to talk about cleaning and prepping the lot for building. We're going to talk about drilling the well. We're going to talk about digging the foundation and getting electricity up to the site. So stay tuned for that one. I'll put the link in it at the end here. If you're watching it the first week, then it'll be next week, but stay tuned. It should be a good series, and I think you'll get a lot out of this.
Thank you for watching our video. Please call, text, or email for more information, and don't forget to watch our other videos about Montana.